Welcome back. In part two, which we hope to do in 3 or 4 minutes, we're just going to show you option 2, a different method to try to solve equations when fractions are involved. If you recall, for this equation, when we solved it using option 1, we got to the answer x equals 20. Hopefully you plugged in x equals 20, saw that it worked in the equation. So we're going to try a second method, and hopefully we see the same x equals 20 answer here. This second method we're going to use, it's to multiply by the least common multiple, and that's going to help us eliminating fractions. Let me show you what I mean with the first example here. 3/4 x minus 1/2 x equals 5. And remember, we're hoping x equals 20 if this method really works. We're going to multiply the entire equation. If I multiply every term by the same number, it will change the equation, but the left side would still be equal to the right side. And we're going to multiply it by whatever the least common multiple is for all the denominators. Here my denominators are 2 and 4. A least common multiple is the smallest number that they would both evenly divide into. The first thing I check is, for my biggest number, 4, does 2 evenly divide into that? And if it does, in this case 4 does get divided by 2 evenly, I know I could multiply by 4, that's the least common multiple. So if I multiply this whole equation by 4, the least common multiple for 2 and 4, 4 divided by 4 would just be 1. That turns 3 over 4x into 3x. Let me put that in the correct color. And let's talk about that a little more. You could have seen 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 4 would give you 3x. But I know 4 divided by 4 will cancel each other out, and I'm just going to have 3x left over. Same here, 4 times -1 would be -4, and -4 divided by 2 would be -2x. 4 times +5, because every term on the left and every term on the right has to be multiplied by the same number here. 4 times 5 gives us 20. 3x minus 2x gives us x equal to 20. And I think you can start to see here why multiplying by the least common multiple, if you can identify it with fractions, makes solving those equations a lot easier. I'm going to show you a second example here. You're going to pause the video and think to yourself, what is the least common multiple for the two denominators here, 2 and 6? In other words, what number could I multiply this whole equation by to eliminate the fractions, to eliminate the divided by 6 and eliminate a divided by 2? If you identify that least common multiple, go ahead and solve the rest of the equation. As you're coming back, unpausing the video, the least common multiple is 6. 6 can get divided by 6. 6 can get divided by 2 evenly. So if I multiply this whole equation by 6, the fractions will get eliminated. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 divided by 2 leaves us with 9y. 6 times +2 is a +12. 6 times -1 is -6. Divided by 6 gives us -1y. See how that 6 canceled out both of those fractions? And 6 has to be multiplied with everything on the right side, so 6 times -2 is -12. At this point, your fractions are gone. You should see you have two variable terms gathered on the left expression. The constant terms not yet gathered. 9y minus 1y gives you 8y plus 12, which is equal to -12. Now you're going to see your variable terms are on the left. So this constant here, this +12, we use an inverse operation to send it to the opposite side. 8y equals -24. And if 8 times some number equals -24, inspection tells me y must be -3. Or I could have divided both sides of the equation by 8. We worked through that pretty quickly. Double check my answer. But I think, again, you can see if you had done this out by trying to get these to the same denominator and adding them up, I bet you'd see it's a bit more work than just multiplying by the least common multiple. Good luck on the rest of the work today. Let me or Ms. Stewart know if you have any questions by using Classroom Q, but definitely check in with your partners or your neighbors first before turning to us.